guys, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing my November wrap-up. I just decided to put a lot of different elements of the month on this video, so it's going to be like movies and other fun things that happened this month along with my books. So I'm just going to kind of get right into it. November wasn't really a great reading month for me. I think the problem that happened as I was reading was that at the end of October, beginning of November, I read a bunch of short books, and I was like, yeah, I'm just getting through the books, it's great. And then about mid-November, second week in November, I started a lot of long books, and I was like finishing up book club book and just doing a lot of things. And so I have a lot of books I'm just like on the cusp of finishing, but so they'll all probably be done in December, and then I'll have like a really big December wrap up, but I just couldn't get them quite done by the time November ended, and so my November reading month isn't that great. But I wanted to share it with you anyhow. So the first book that I read was, I'd finished it like first day of November, was One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus, and I don't have it because it was a library book, but I really liked this book. I gave it 4 stars out of 5, and it was very, like, Breakfast Clubby, mixed with like, I don't know, like a mystery, and it was, and I'm not a fan of Breakfast Club, but I like the idea. Like, I didn't like the movie, but I like the idea of Breakfast Club. And it's kind of like these kids, they get thrown into the detention, all for things that they really didn't do, and when they get in there, this kid dies, and then they're all kind of suspected of murder, and then they're trying to figure out if one of them did it or who did it. And so you follow this mystery of like these kids trying to figure out who killed their classmate, and you follow like them building relationships with each other. There was like a romance in it that I really enjoyed. I liked that part of the story, but I liked the whole way the story went down, and you got all the different perspectives, and then you're trying to figure out if one of them was lying, like the title says. And I really, like, overall really enjoyed this book. I read it really quick, and overall it was just a good read. And then the second book that I read was There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. This was kind of finishing up my like Halloween reads. There was a lot that I didn't get to, but this is one that I did, and this is someone is like terrorizing this small town, and they will go in their houses and kill people. And it was very much like 90s thriller, I'm trying to think of the word, like scary movie. Like there's some like I Know What You Did Last Summer. It totally reminded me of that. So it was kind of cheesy, and you kind of knew what was happening, but at the same time, I guess I may not like read a whole lot of thrillers because I was taken back a lot by this, and to me it very much reminded me of that 90s era of movies that are scary, but that I really enjoy. And so I liked this book. The first chapter, after reading the first chapter, I was like, and I was totally taken by surprise. I don't know if anybody else was, but I was like, wow, this is great. And then I read through. The only things that I had problems with this book is like you kind of find out who did it like halfway through. So the mystery's kind of ended by halfway through, which is okay. I still enjoyed it, but it was interesting choice for me that she would decide to like unleash who did it that soon. And then the other thing is it ended really abruptly. And about like the last 2 chapters was just like a roller coaster of emotions that I didn't necessarily really enjoy. And a lot of people die, and slasher movie is what I was trying to think of. This is like a 90s slasher movie, and salute to the party. I thought it was a good read for Halloween, and I really enjoyed it overall, but I think I gave it 3 stars. So I liked it. It was a fun time. I read it super quick. Not the best thing I ever read, ever, but I did enjoy it. The last book I read this month was a reread of The Truth About Forever by Sarah Dessen. I listened to this on audiobook from the library, and I really, really loved this time around. And this is one of my favorite books by her, and I was curious how it would hold up over time. I really, really enjoyed this. I'm going to do like a little book babble talk thing about it pretty soon, within the next week, to talk about it, because I had a lot of feelings, and I think audiobook helped me like really like listen to it this time around and really hear what was the story and the plot and where it was going. But yeah, I really liked this book, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The other fun thing that happened this month was Taylor Swift came out with a new album, and yes, I bought both of them because I had to. And so her album came with, like, the magazine came with, like, poetry and pictures, and each one was exclusive, and so that's why I had to buy both. But yeah, I'm a fan. And she went in a different direction with the music, and I like it. It's not my cup of tea, per se, but for me, Taylor Swift is such, like, a big, like, I want to say, like, icon, but I just love Taylor Swift, and so I totally, like, am on track with what she was doing and what she was, you know, where she was going with her music, and so I really love the album. It's not one of my favorites, but I still really love it, and I was such a big fan of the way she marketed this, and I think it's genius, and I think she's just a genius, and so, yeah, that was my fangirling moment of the month, but yeah. So I got those albums, and so that was a fun November thing. Also, the movies I watched this month were Thor, Ragnarok, I think that's how you say it, and I really liked this movie. I haven't seen the other Thors, and so I was really not sure, and I went with my cousin. He was like, let's go see this, and I was like, sure, and I totally enjoyed this, and I kind of want to go back and watch the first ones, because I was like, oh, I never even knew that I liked Thor, and I don't know if the earlier ones, like the first 2, I think they're 2, is there more that I'm missing? You can comment below if I'm misknowing this, because but were they funny too? You could comment that below too, if those were kind of, or if this one's taking on a new kind of theme or feeling, because I really liked the humor in this, and I really enjoyed it. It was just like a really good movie. And then the other movie that I watched was a Netflix original, and it was Gaga 5'2". And I don't know if this is new, it's probably been out forever, and I'm just late to the party. But this is a documentary of Lady Gaga leading up to her Super Bowl performance last year. I totally love this. This is kind of my thing. Like, I really enjoy watching musical documentaries. Even if I don't particularly enjoy the person who they're featuring, like I don't listen to their music or whatever, I still really enjoy those kinds of things. So I really liked Katy Perry's and One Direction, and at the time I didn't listen to either of those music, but I really liked the documentary, and it actually made me like the people more, and that's what this Lady Gaga one did. Like, I'm an alright Lady Gaga fan. I've just never bought any of her albums, and I'll listen to her songs here and there. But this documentary, I was like, oh my gosh, I love her, you know? And I just totally got behind it, and I thought it was really cool. So those are the movies I watched this month. The show that I caught up with, which I'm also kind of late to the party, is I finished season 1 of Riverdale. And I want to talk about this because I have lots of feelings about this show, like, on a spiritual level. Like, I loved this show. And I was very hesitant about it, and I was like, no. And I love teen dramas. Like, they are my thing. Vampire Diaries, Pretty Little Liars, like, oh, I love OC, One Tree Hill. I love the drama. I love the teen drama, that it's not too much. Veronica Mars, sign me up. So, Riverdale was like, I was like, oh, I'll give it a try. And a while ago, I started the first episode and only made it 13 minutes in, and so I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna get on board with this, but I at least want to finish the first episode. And so I, like, watched the first episode, and then I was hooked. And then I watched all of, I think it's 13 episodes in a week. And I just, you know, split them up because I had work and stuff. But that was as fast as I've finished something like that in a long time, because I just don't have a lot of time. But I just, like, every free moment, I was, like, trying to finish it because I loved it. And one of the big, like, pieces of curiosity that made me want to watch this is that Cole Sprouse is in it, and I was like, oh, I'm curious about this, because he kind of disappeared, and I feel like I'm talking really fast, so I'm trying to slow down, but I'm really excited. So, he disappeared for a while, and Sweet Life of Zack and Cody was kind of after my Disney Channel time. Like, I still watched it, but it's not as big to people, like, 2 years younger. Like, a lot of my friends 2 years younger than me absolutely, like, Zack and Cody were their show. And me, I was like, yeah, I watched it, but I was kind of too old for it. So, but I'd kind of followed, you know, that they like went to school and stuff and dropped out, and then he came back, and I was like, oh, I'm curious to see what he's like in this, and he's so good, like so good, and like he says he's Jughead, and I totally like love Jughead and Betty, and I think Jughead's character, like Cole as Jughead and Betty are the reasons that I kept watching, but the show itself is just so good, and it really reminds me of Veronica Mars, where it's like that noir. I'm gonna say that word wrong because I don't really know, but it's like dark, you know, very dark and edgy, but also it's like a teen drama, so it's not too dark and edgy, you know what I mean? And that's what I liked about Veronica Mars. It was dark and like things happened, but at the end of the day, it's not like HBO, you know, like they still like a little bit of like, you know, dialed back a little bit. And so I just really enjoyed the show, and I'm waiting for the second season to come on Netflix because I don't have cable. But yeah, so Riverdale, if you're kind of on the fence and you love teen dramas or you loved Veronica Mars, I really think that people who loved Veronica Mars will love Riverdale, because they're solving a mystery. It's kind of like Scooby-Doo gang reimagined, like, but if you liked the Archie comics, you may not like this. I never read the comics. I had no idea. I just was never on my radar. I just was not a comic book reading kid. So to me, like, I'll look up and be like, well, why does he wear the hat? And I have to Google a lot of things, but it's not a big deal that it's a whole lot different because it wasn't like a big thing for me. But if it's a big thing for you, it might be not a fun thing. I don't know. But also, I just think if you just distance yourself from it and be like, it's a completely different thing. It's not Archie. They're just using the names. Then maybe you'll enjoy it. I don't know, so let me know what you thought about Riverdale. If you watch it, if you read the comics, let me know. Yeah, let me know about Riverdale. Let me know if you've listened to Taylor Swift's album and if you liked it. If you like this video and you want to see more, you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It's always really encouraging when I get new subscribers and new likes. Yeah, I hope to be bringing a couple more videos soon and some Christmas themed ones soon. So look out for those, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.